Alright guys, welcome back. In today's video, we're just going to talk about Bitcoin and metals. And I'm going to talk about my strategy to accumulate more of both. So, I'm looking to accumulate more mining stocks and then more Bitcoin and more altcoins in the coming weeks. Alright, so let's talk about gold first real quick, and then I'll talk about Bitcoin. So the bull flag broke out. As I said, I warned you guys it was going to pull back. It is pulling back. This is a daily chart of gold. As you can see down here, we have on the daily chart here 2 moving averages, and I think that's going to act as support. Oh yeah, first of all, this is not financial advice. Consult your financial advisor. I am not a licensed financial advisor. I could be completely wrong. This is more of an educational channel on how to trade, and you can listen to me rant and talk about and give you guys my opinions about price and what's going on economically and everything else around the world. So again, here's the daily chart. We have a 200-day moving average, my equilibrium line. That's probably going to hold up the price. And I'm thinking also 1300 was huge resistance. Now it will more than likely become huge support. So I do not think the price will break under 1300. If it does, it'll be quick. Might go to 1280 in like a couple days or something, or maybe a week, and then shoot back up. So that's what I'm thinking right now. So I'm looking to buy as many mining stocks as I can before the next FOMC meeting, the Fed minutes, because I think the price is going to rally prior to the Fed minutes, because there's always insiders who know what's going to happen. And then what if they do lower rates? Now I posted in the chat groups, right? Links are below this video in the description, where Trump tweeted, well, first of all, this was interesting. Unemployment record low, wage inflation near decade highs, stocks 2.5% below all-time highs, and the Federal Reserve will cut 3 times before 2020. I mean, that's crazy. The only time they cut rates is when you're in a depression or a recession, not when things are supposedly doing this great. Obviously, the economic numbers are fudged. They have better data, and they know it's a bubble. All right. Trump says Fed hasn't listened to him, made mistake. So he's screaming for them to lower rates because he needs the market up until next election season, right? So I don't know. The market does price in a Fed rate cut, and they priced it into 30%. I don't think they're going to lower rates, and they're definitely not going to raise rates. I think they're just going to do nothing, but they're going to talk very dovish the next Fed meeting. So I think metals are going to take off. They're just going to prepare the market for rate cuts later this year, because the economy, the fundamentals, the numbers are rolling over. I mean, they're getting worse. And we're really, really at the end of this cycle, this expansion cycle. So that's what I'm thinking. Here's another gold chart. Another daily chart zoomed out. You can see the price is in a giant pennant, almost an ascending triangle, but it's a pennant. And I put in volume, buying and selling volume here on the left. And then there's also support and resistance lines just from the price action. So if you guys remember, for months now, I've been talking about my blue equilibrium line, right? How on the weekly chart for gold. This is gold futures chart weekly. Every candlestick's a week. When the 200-week moving average crosses above the blue line the last time, we went into a decade-long bull market in metals. Well, we just did that again. And nobody else saw this except for me, and I've been warning you guys. And look what happened as soon as the 200-week moving average crossed my blue equilibrium line. The price just shot straight up. Now, some would say, well, it's the news. It's weird. I've said that before. The news follows the price. The price doesn't follow the news. I don't want to get into it. It's just really weird. Only traders know that. Also, we've already tested this upper range of 1350 multiple times now. Many times. A lot of times, like 6 or 7, something like that. So, or maybe 10 if you're just counting the weeks. It's gonna break above it, and once gold breaks above 1350, it's gonna run. It's gonna run up a lot and fast. It could run up to 1600 in like a matter of a month. It all depends also what the Fed does. Also, this is a nice bottoming pattern looking at the weekly. You could almost put in a head and shoulder bottoming pattern. It's kind of ugly though, but it's good enough. Or a giant, this is gold as well on the weekly, cup and handle. This is a weekly chart, guys. I mean, this spans all the way back. This cup and handle goes all the way back to May of 2013. That's how big this cup and handle is. It's going to shoot the price up to like up there. All right. If gold goes to 1600, those mining stocks are going to go up like hundreds of percent. So, yeah, I mean, time's running out. Don't, if you're going to buy my research, don't buy it when it's too late. Buy it before the price moves up. I've just noticed that everyone, they never buy when the time's right. They only do it when they're FOMOing and the price has already moved up. Most of the gains are made in the beginning, not at the end of a bull market. Just letting you know. Because you could buy more units, like more shares, because they're so cheap at the bottom of the market. When you buy it at a breakout, you get like half the amount of units or the amount of stock. So makes a big difference to how much you could possibly make your gains in percentage term. Also, I showed you guys this chart last video 2 days ago. The stock market, S&P 500 versus gold. I mean, we're here again. Go to watch my last video where I went more in depth about this. But yeah, I mean, we're coming up on some sort of correction to the stock market. And then yeah, possibly QE, and the stock market's going to go higher, but it's going to be because of money printing. And I would rather be sitting in metals, because metals will, percentage-wise, have way more upside than buying stocks if there's a market melt-up. And also, when there's a market melt-up, you don't know when the thing's going to crash. And we're not even sure if we're going to get a market melt-up. We don't know if the central bankers, the central planners, could pull it off again like they did in 2009. It's still up in the air. We're going to have to wait and see. All I know is shorting's dangerous. Buying equities and stocks is dangerous. And the only thing that's not dangerous that I believe is buying metals. It's the most undervalued asset in the entire world right now. Everything else is up in the stratosphere except metals. Everything. Even crypto. Everything. So, I mean, it's common sense to me. So, all right, let me finish talking about this. Here's a daily chart again of gold. This is what I'm doing. You know, the price, it may come back and retest the bottom range of this triangle. And I do not believe the price is going to go below 1230 again. I think it'll get bought up at the bottom range of this triangle. And I think, I could be completely wrong, guys, but I really think that's the worst case scenario is around 1230. That's the worst case scenario for gold. Although I wouldn't be surprised. So if there's a Fed rate cut in a week, then the price isn't going below 1300. Then that's it. I mean, this will be your last buying opportunity. If there's a Fed rate cut, the next FOMC meeting, which is the 19th. I mean, that's it. The metals are going to the moon, and there you go. So it's either going to be 1300 for your dip buying opportunity, and if the Fed doesn't lower rates, did I say raise or lower? If the Fed doesn't lower rates next week, they just don't do anything. They just talk very dovish. Gold may break 1300 and then go down to 1280. Like I said, worst case scenario is 1230. Now look, this volume profile I put on here, a ton of buyers around 1230. So if it goes down to 1230, I'm all in. If it goes anywhere below 1280, I'm mostly in. If the price gets to 1280 or 1300 and starts going, I'm gonna start buying already towards the end of this week. And then if the price falls a little bit further down to 1280, I'm still gonna load up a lot. And if it falls lower than that, I'm just gonna keep dollar cost averaging in until 1230. I'm all in. That's what I'm personally doing. Will it be the right decision? I don't know. I don't care. I don't want to miss this. So I'm thinking of it from a value investor standpoint. Now, I've been holding long since like 1100, a large position. But I still have a lot of cash on the side, so I'm going to take advantage of the next dip. And then I'm just going to start going all in, dollar cost averaging in on gold and silver mining stocks. If you haven't, go to mmginvest.com. I've done research. There's a video there. And you guys can see what the research report has. So what it looks like, the website. There's a video here, click on it, and that is what to expect. And then there's the private group where I also just trade other stocks like Zoom and this and that. Alright, although I missed that one. So, what else? I like to look at the metals ETFs and junior miners to see if the move in gold was confirmed. That it's a real move. It's not just speculation. It's not shorts getting squeezed, or it's just not future speculation. Look at this. The ETFs shot up with the price of gold. You know what that means? People were buying mining stocks. Smart money was, at least. So there's definitely interest coming back, and this sort of validates that the move we just had above 1300 to 47 was, or 37 was it was a legitimate move, which is signaling a bull market. And it's rare that in June metals go up. Usually metals fall in June and July. So if metals are going up, something's going on. And it's the Fed. It's because people are waking up, the bond market's waking up, everyone's waking up to the fact that the Fed is trapped and they're just going to print money until, I don't know, we end up like the Bolivar, Venezuela, or Weimar Republic, Zimbabwe. I don't know. So, yeah, I just want to show you guys that. All right, let's go to Bitcoin. Oh yeah, there's this article before I go to Bitcoin. I'm gonna post this in the free chat room and the private one. Very good article that talks about metals and why metals are ready to go back into a bull market. It's a good article. So near-term prospects look bright. I agree, especially running up to the election. And if listen, guys, the stock market goes higher, metals go higher. Stock market falls, metals go higher. It's like, for me, it's the most sure bet I've ever really seen. So, all right. Actually, there's some gold. Never mind. All right, let's talk about Bitcoin. Bitcoin, sort of the same as gold. I'm looking to buy back and accumulate in the coming weeks. So I put a volume profile on the larger time frame here on the weekly from the last bull market. And then if I go to the daily chart, I also put a volume profile here as well from this yearly low, right? Around 3,100. There's a ton of volume, buying volume. This recent rally that we've had in the past 4 months, between 3,400 and 4,100. So if the price does pull back to 4,100, I'm all in. I'm accumulating, going all in on crypto, buying altcoins and all of it. All right. There's also a lot of buying volume between around 5,400 and 4,800. So that is also a possible area where the price will pull back to and then rebound. And then there's some support and some buying between 5,500 and 6,000. 6,000, there was a ton of buying on the larger time frame. So these are the areas of interest by investors. And I know it looks, it's kind of like they're very close to one another. And it's starting to look like, you could just start buying at 6,200 all the way down to 3,400 and you're good. And honestly, that might be a good strategy, right? Dollar cost average in. Just like I said with what I'm doing with gold, mining stocks. So, how far is the price going to pull back? I don't know. I do know there's just a lot of support areas. There's going to be a lot of support around 4,800. There's just going to be a ton of support around there. So that might be your last dip buying opportunity before it goes into a bull market, right? Because I do think Bitcoin and cryptos will go into another bull market. I just still need to see another pullback for confirmation, and that's just how price moves. I could be wrong and could just keep going straight up, but I'm still expecting that pullback, guys, and I'll show you why. I'll tell you why. So, it's going to look something like this, right? Boom. Hold on. I need to change the color. Alright. Or maybe like this. Boom. Or maybe like this. Boom. It's going to be something like that, I believe. And that's why I drew this little pyramid, and you pyramid in. You dollar cost average down. And that's assuming that we're not going to break below 3,000 and just go to, I don't know. But I really don't think the price is going to do that at this point. I think I give it like a 20% probability that the price will break and make a newer low from 3,100. It's still possible, yes, but I think it's just less likely with physically backed ICE New York Stock Exchange futures coming out like later this year. So I'm also anticipating for that news event, right? And I think that will spur some institutional money. Also, Facebook, too many big companies are getting into crypto. Although there is some bad news, I will talk about that at the end of this video. That is very important, and you should wait till then. All right. So this is what I'm hoping and I'm expecting for the price to do. So I can start dollar cost averaging in down anywhere from like 6,200 to 3,400. This is going to be this is the hard part. Okay, this will be the hardest part. But you know, just starting to accumulate down in this area, I think will be a good bet. I just don't know how far it's going to fall. Now, I do think it's going to fall down here for a couple reasons. Well, for one, on this 4-hourly time frame, we do have a head and shoulders. It did not work out just yet because there was a huge price pump this morning. It is Monday, by the way, and it's 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern Standard Time. UTC time is 14. Well, it's 1500. Okay, so I'm thinking either this is it, and the price is going to start pulling back like soon now. And then once the price breaks below 7,600, it's going to start correcting in a big way again. So that's what I'm expecting on the smaller time frame. Also, these moving averages are going to start crossing below one another. The shorter moving averages are going to start crossing the longer moving averages, and those are going to create a bunch of they're going to create like, you know, death crosses, and then it's going to start dropping the price on the smaller time frame. All right. Now, there's also a lot, you're starting to come up on a lot of resistance up here. We've got a Reddy Shimoku Cloud, resistance at 8,100, 8,130, although in 8,300. Between 8,130 and 8,300, there's a lot of resistance. I do not think the price will break through it and above it. It might break into it, might shoot a little bit above 8,300, but then right after, I think it's going to correct again. And then as soon as we take out 7,600, the drop will accelerate and we'll get that nice correction that I've been talking about. I mean, we've already corrected a decent amount from 9,100, but 7,600 breaks. Next stop is in the 6,000s. Showed that. So the longs and the shorts, it's very interesting. I have no buy signals on neither. And whenever the shorts and the longs are falling, look at this. Both the longs and the shorts are at historic lows. Both of them. That's very bad. Although, you know, this could be skewed because this is a Bitfinex, longs and shorts. And the only thing it shows me is that Bitfinex just does not have many speculators left. Also, there's sort of head and shoulders on both of these. Either way, when you see both the longs and the shorts falling, there will be no shorts to cover their positions to give you a nice bounce, so it could fall in a big way rapidly, the price of Bitcoin, because there'll be no short covering. And then the longs, I mean, they're just so obliterated that it's going to take a lot for the longs to come back. So this is negative to me. That's what I see. So let's go to the weekly chart on Bitcoin. So positive that the price broke through the Ready Shimoku cloud. These moving averages just crossed. It did dump the price. But a retest of the 200-week moving average is sort of a must, or it has to do that in technical analysis to confirm this entire move up to the upside that sort of broke the bear market trend, because it did break up pretty high. Especially once it got past like 6,000, it broke the bear market trend. So if you're a trend follower, yes, it broke it on the weekly and the daily. But to confirm, you need a retest of the 200-week moving average. And let's say the price falls for 4 more weeks, something like that, maybe 2 more months. I mean, that could take us to 4,100. So by the end of July, let's say, if the price keeps falling from this week until the end of July, which would give you 6 weeks of downside, that would take you down to, well, time analysis wise, it could easily take you down to 4,100 to retest a 200-week moving average. And that is honestly the best case scenario for Bitcoin and cryptos, so we could set up for a new bull market in 2020. All right. So that's what I'm expecting. 4,100 in the coming weeks and months, rest of this year. The oscillators, I mean, it's been overextended like no other than ever before in Bitcoin's history on the weekly. So I want to see this reset. The oscillators need to reset. And there you go. That's really all I have to say. I mean, the oscillators have to reset. They can't be pegged to overextend it for like a year. Here's the monthly chart. Just kind of want to look at this. Now, I said the monthly, according to the TD indicator, it's very bullish. We had a 1, 2, 3 count, which sets us up for a 9 count to the upside. So we're on month 4, so 5 more months of possible upside. Now, it's actually common that the 4 candle or even the 5, both of them, pull back a little bit, and then it gets a higher 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, in that scenario, I mean, you would actually be buying around 6,000, 6,300, 6,200. I don't see the 4 candle going any further if that's how it plays out. So it's very tricky. The problem with this third candle is, one, that it's green, it's not blue. When it's light blue, that gives me a buy signal. And I would expect this 3 candle to also be blue. And the reason it's not is because I have a feeling that entire rally we had was sort of manipulation by the exchanges, Bitfinex and all them. And I talked about that, a few videos ago when it was happening. And I was telling you guys why I thought it was manipulation. It was wash trading between exchanges. And like I've said, with all manipulation, it for short term, maybe even the intermediate on a very illiquid asset like this, and with exchanges that could print their own money, right? Yes, they could temporarily cause a bull run, but long term, at the end of the day, if it's not ready, it's not ready. It has to bottom out in a certain way. Human interest, psychology versus time has to play out, and manipulation, it never works long term, but always works short term. Although, again, that's easy to say. So central banks, that's sort of long-term manipulation, but not really. I mean, central banks creating a bubble in the stock market for 10 years is not long-term. It's actually intermediate. It just seems long because we're humans, and 10 years seems like a long time for us. So even central banks, they can't keep the game going forever. But yeah, I mean, they print money, and so does Bitfinex. So, yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is sort of, I could ignore the TD indicator, and the 4 and the 5 fall further back down to 4,000 and then reset, and then the entire countdown sequence resets itself. Because if this 4 candle trades too low, then it will no longer be a 4, or the candle next, the next candle for that month, this is a monthly chart again, will reset the count, and it'll be like a 1 or something. So, yeah, I mean, these are pretty much my thoughts. And look at this. The RSI is pretty high on the monthly already. The MACD's about to cross to the upside on the monthly, but it could be like a false cross. Like if it crosses and then breaks back down. Like I said, I think there's manipulation involved in it. It sort of makes your indicators not that useful anymore. By the way, the 1 hourly chart, yes, it does have a bull flag, or it's actually like a bull pennant. So, yeah, I mean, it's a bullish pennant. So, the price can shoot back up to 81.30 again and then get rejected. Now, the bullish case scenario is, what if it just keeps running higher and higher? Then 9,600 would actually be my... I don't think that's going to happen, but just in case. I do have to talk about the FOMO Moon Boy scenario, right? Alright, so... you know, if it breaks above 81.30... or even 8,300, yeah, it'll run back up to 8,800, but then there's resistance at 8,800 again, and then it'll pull back, I believe. And then the next resistance is like 9,600, and above 9,600 is like nothing. There is no resistance. And yeah, it could really go run to the all-time high in the coming weeks and months. Just warning you. It's okay, though. A lot of the altcoins did pull back. There was some cup and handles on the altcoins. I mean, those could still play out for the short term. Litecoin, of course, just keeps rallying, but that's because of its own like fundamental reasons. I did give Litecoin a good rating in my research report, by the way. Oh yeah, so if you guys are, it did have a cup and handle and it did break out. I did warn you guys last time about that. I just didn't trade it. I didn't trade this to the upside, whatever. I'm actually looking to short Bitcoin. As soon as, I mean, the conservative approach would be if it breaks below 7,600. I'm trying to catch that top because I'm greedy. I'm not going to take a lot of money. I'm just going to take like, you know, $100 here, $100 there, 100x leverage and try to catch it in the middle of the night, like 3 in the morning. All right. So, yeah. The links are in the description below this video. Go to wolfpackcryptos.io. We do altcoin research, and they have worked out really, really well. If you bought in at 3,100, like I did, because I did, I went 30% in, right? And whoever listened to me, they did pretty good. They're sitting on really big gains. So, yeah, there's 2 spreadsheets. They look like this. And then there's a free trading academy. Looks like this. It's very simplified. You know, it's very simplified for beginners. It's trading 101. I have to update this. I just don't have time, guys. I have to trade to make as much money as humanly possible. So I could buy more mining stocks and cryptos. And honestly, I don't make much from Wolfpack Cryptos and MMG. I really don't make much. But as more people come in, I'll start adding more info. I did add a few more mining stocks, and also I'm gonna cover a few of the altcoins, STOs. There's a new IEO out there. It looks very interesting. I posted that in the alerts room of Wolfpack Cryptos for private members, and that might actually be something that Moon Boys are definitely gonna buy. Yeah, so go to wolfpackcryptos.io for that. Email us and we'll get back to you within the day. We only accept cryptos for now. What else? Oh yeah, and when I do trade altcoins, I do share that in the alerts room, so you guys can learn how to trade. And yeah, and there's like a 200-page report on the altcoins. All right, guys. Put in the comment section anything, I don't care. Ask questions, I do answer them. And oh yeah, the bad news. I knew I was forgetting something. Listen, I don't want to talk about this because my channel's gonna get like, you know, taken away on YouTube. But because this company right here owns YouTube, right? And Alphabet. So read this article. It's important. If you guys think only certain people are going to get like book burned from the internet, they could do that to crypto and they probably will. There's a good and they're already doing it. It's in the newsroom of Wolfpack Cryptos, which is free. Anyone could go in there. And yeah, that's what I'm saying, guys. Without freedom, there's no money. You're not gonna get a bull market if they start censoring crypto. Yeah, it's just how it is. How are you gonna get mass adoption? Because you have to understand, like 90% of the world or more is using one search engine. Do you understand that? All right. But I'm hopeful. I don't think they can stop it in the long run. Smash them likes. Later.